Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Strong language, mature scenes, and things that go bump in the night are ahead. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to cosmic entities from the great beyond, are strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your keeper this evening, Keeper Michael. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with the Queen of the Night. We continue our Arkham Investigation series. I'd like to welcome you in, say a special welcome to our Patreon supporters who help have made this show so much more interactive with their donations, with their feedback, and with their suggestions. And so we'd like them to continue that. And so if you have any other suggestions, perhaps for another Arkham investigation we could do, we are all ears. You can jump on Patreon and send us a message there. You can be sure to check us out on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. We are working our way up in the subscriber numbers there, and there's going to be a giveaway associated relatively soon with the end of this story. And so if you want to get a hand on that, then you are going to need to be subscribed to us on YouTube as well. Make sure that it's public, something you can do in your YouTube settings, so that way I can see it when I look at your comments. And now we'll get to player and investigator introductions to my right.
Hello there, this is Mike, and I'm playing Charles Thurgood. Our pronouns are he, him. And Charles has become increasingly frustrated at the sequence of wrong turns that Detective Beatrice Locke seems to be taking whilst driving through the streets of Arkham.
Yeah, I'm not sure how she's even allowed to drive a truck at this point, but certainly there's an opportunity for you to give her perhaps some clearer instructions on the way to the Purcell residence, which I believe is on the list.
Absolutely. I wouldn't trust her with a bicycle. Next
to Charles.
This is Morgan, and I'm playing Annie Mae Thurgood. Our pronouns are she, her. And Annie Mae's been, napping in the back seat and telling Charles to shh as he is trying to tell Detective Locke how to drive. And not sure how they got to the hospital or something I had a really long night. So here we are. I'm just in it to win it.
And the winning is coming. Next to Annie Mae.
Hi, my name is Bunny. I'm playing Detective Beatrice Locke. Our pronouns are she, her. And I have a truckload of trouble, the weight of the world on my shoulders, and a very full itinerary.
Yeah, absolutely. And last but most certainly not least.
Hi, I'm Allie, and I play Catherine Chamberlain. And let me tell you, after losing a bunch of my power to this lady who apparently I pissed off because she was talking in riddles and rhymes, I'm ready to, confront her and get this over with.
Yeah, well, we'll get there, I'm sure. Just got to keep trucking. When last we left our intrepid adventurers, these investigators now have clambered back into the truck, and their aim is to pay a visit to one Amelia Purcell. Now, we have had the opportunity very recently to call upon the Purcell residence, and now we're going to come back to our appointed and prepared interview at the Purcell residence. So you pull back up in front of the Purcell residence, the truck still sort of churning and warm from your use of getting it across the city. And I wonder if the investigators maybe want to prepare their approach this time.
Well, Detective, what is the scene we're going to set for the Purcells?
So, I do believe that it would make sense for you to talk with the husband. His house is full of antiquities, and also, again, you'd make a lovely distraction to men of society chatting while I have, hopefully, less restricted time with the wife. Annie Mae, you actually managed to speak to her before.
Yes, I did.
I appreciate the intel that you had before, I considered bringing you with me for this, but now that we have Miss Chamberlain also in the car, I don't want to feel like I'm just bringing half the town in to see his wife that he keeps sort of tucked away.
So you'd like me to stay in the vehicle with Miss Chamberlain?
That would make a lot of sense for now. If you need to come in for some reason, I would just be careful how you approach it. But I think that I should see her, and we could compare notes on how she was acting, if she's more lucid today or not. But I think that your brother is ample distraction, and I think that I don't have a good excuse as a detective to bring Miss Chamberlain in with.
Yeah, watch out for the butler.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of sneaky, and he keeps a good eye on people, so he may not be okay with the bathroom excuse again this time.
That was a concern of mine. That ace in your sleeve has already been played, and any more would be too suspicious for him. So
I feel like that you'll come up with a good solution, though, so I'm really not worried.
that being said, you two might have some finer points of what's going on to discuss about what we might find at Goody Fowler's house later. So perhaps it isn't a terrible idea for you two to stay in the truck together anyway to make a game plan for tonight, since that is thoroughly outside of my wheelhouse.
Yeah, Miss Chamberlain and I will talk. I may have had her in a class or two, so filling in over at the university. So we can bond over that and take notes.
Thanks, ladies. Shall we, Charles?
Yes. Let us strike while the iron is hot.
The Purcell house awaits. It is a very similar walk up the well-manicured pathway and steps here. Everything here at the Purcell house is pretty well taken care of. You know that they have a foot-in, and you also know that they have a few maids that work inside the house. Those of you who have been here before. You're greeted at the door pretty quickly, and after being greeted at the door, Irving is promptly summoned, and he looks like he's mostly prepared himself for the day. He looks a little concerned.
Good morning, sir. Thank you again for setting this up for today.
Of course, Detective. I'm here to be as helpful as possible.
Are you all right this morning?
It's nothing. When you're caring for someone who has a condition like my wife does, there's always something that comes up throughout the day that you're not expecting.
How is she faring this morning?
I think that she is well enough to speak. We'll have some tea here in one of the sitting rooms, and I'll be happy to oblige you to speak with her.
Thank you. This is my consultant, Mr. Charles Thurgood. He's an antiquarian in the area.
Mr. Purcell, a very great pleasure to meet you. Charles Thurgood.
He reaches out and shakes your hand. So for you, Charles, the inside of the Purcell house is sort of a wonder. To say that it is lightly decorated Edwardian would be a travesty. Most things in here are Edwardian. The decorations, even Irving's clothes, frankly, are a little bit of a throwback, as we would say now. Everything in here is also fairly...
I mean, it's just a bit old-fashioned, really, because it's only sort of 15, 20 years.
Yeah. But it is something to say that for someone whose house is this nice, well taken care of, Irving seems to do okay. He does seem to have some things here which lend itself to a collector's mindset. I think that's the best way to say it. Perhaps it is an era that he is fascinated with and he has taken to it, which is certainly good for you, because it is things you can you can certainly talk about. You know, and there's in the sitting room that he pulls you to into, or leads you to into, there's a huge masterwork dollhouse in one corner. There are sort of a series of stuffed animals, and you would even see something you'd seen before, Detective, which is the stuffed animals that have sort of like the diorama with mice. There are stuffed mice here. And then there's also a great deal in the same room, which he uses evidently to read. There's a great deal of papers here. So that could be anything from the Post to the Wall Street Journal, the Gazette, and just a lot of papers. There might even be some correspondence. You'd have to really drill in to try to look at those specifically, getting to glean any information. There are letters here as well that they're sort of, this must be where Irving feels most at home, because not only are there newspapers here, but there's also mail, effectively correspondence that's here. He leads you in and says, if you'll give me just a moment, I'll bring my wife.
I'm going to stroll over to have a look at this doll's house and see, is it a representation of this house or just a sort of generic doll's house from the look of it? And am I able to tell, was it made by someone who is kind of well known in that particular field, like Edward Lucian sort of thing?
So I'll give you a couple things on the dollhouse. One of the things that is striking about this house is that it is likely made by someone with quite a bit of talent, and probably someone who has done it countless times. All of the pieces within the house, the dollhouse, are done correctly. The miniaturization of everything is right. It is dusty, but the house is probably something from, in the style anyways, of about 40 or so years ago.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's more Victorian.
It's much more Victorian than it would be. And you can also tell that at one time, the house was definitely played with, because there are figures and there are what you would say, in effect, scenes going on. But it's as if no one has played with it for some time.
Is it worth making an appraise roll to get an idea of whether there is a value to it?
Yeah, you could certainly make an appraise roll. It's reasonable.
Yep, that is a normal success. 43 under 45.
Let's see here. In $27, I'm going to say, and I'll probably be wrong, but I'm going to say that this house, you would value this dollhouse probably about $250 US.
It's good quality and quite expensive. But also, kind of heading towards antique as well. I must say, Mr. Purcell, this is a very, very fine piece of work.
Mr. Purcell has left the room.
Oh, has he? Oh.
I do like the idea of Charles just sort of prattling on.
Yeah, in fact, I'll probably just be examining it, looking into one of the little rooms through the window and just speak to him, then turn around. He is... Where did he go?
He's getting his wife. That being said, Charles, what's going on in there? And she'll, go from idly sort of looking at those letters without trying to look like she's rifling through him, to looking at the dollhouse with Charles.
If I didn't know better, I would say this is more than likely something that was played with possibly by Amelia when she was a child.
This is probably a silly question, but how many dolls are in there?
Let me have a little look here and see what I can see.
Yeah, so looking inside, there are dolls in there. There is a older, which you would believe is probably a matronly figure there. And there are 3 younger feminine figures in there. Definitely female. They all wear dresses, and they're of varying ages.
I wonder if those are meant to be her and her sisters.
Quite possibly, yes. Judging from the age, I would say it's not inconceivable that it was, in fact, her mother's doll's house before hers.
Detective Black, would you do me the courtesy of rolling spot hidden, please? You said you were looking at some letters.
Happily.
Looking, but not actually looking like you were looking. You're flying casually.
51 under 59.
So, touring around the spot, this room, there's a lot to look at. There are some books and bookshelves in here. There's an upright piano in the room as well. And while you're in that space, you see that there are different music sheets, different books. What catches your eye is a letter that's tucked into by one of these books, and it's because it has Amelia's name written. And it looks very different than some of the other correspondence letters you saw there waiting.
Are any of the staff of this home in this room with us, or is it just the 2 of us right now?
No, it's just the 2 of you at the moment.
You said it's tucked into a book. Is it tucked just inside the cover, or is it between pages?
So it's actually tucked between a book and a folder, and that's how you're seeing the paper stick out. It's not actually in the book.
Okay, then I will carefully remove the letter to have a closer look at it.
So inside there is a letter personal correspondence that seems to be written to Amelia. The reason why you saw the name Amelia is because it's at the top of the letter. And it's really what precedes the name that is catching. And it says, "Dearest Amelia." This is definitely a man's handwriting. And in effect, the letter says, "I have enjoyed our time together at the piano. You are an apt student, and teaching you has become one of the luxuries in my life I simply do not want to do without. But I do not know that our continued time at the piano will be allowed by Irving. It has become clear to me that he is aware of us. And so it is best that for now, I suspend our lessons until a time is which we can reconvene and continue them. I understand that this will be difficult for both of us, but I will never be far." And it is signed Dalton Crenshaw. He probably just says Dalton. He wouldn't use his last name.
What was the folder that it was next to?
It doesn't seem to add anything to what is there. It seems like this was maybe it was tucked away and hidden.
I'm going to tuck this letter into the inner pocket of my coat instead of putting it back. But I will put the book and folder how they were before.
The heels and proper dress shoes of Irving and Amelia begin to echo their way through the wood floorboards of the house, and they are approaching.
I will rejoin Charles by the dollhouse.
Charles, during this, has kind of very, very carefully lifted one of the dolls out of the dollhouse and is examining it. He's kind of popped in his little loop, I think it's pronounced, his little kind of eyeglass for examining delicate instruments and such. Very fine work indeed.
They step in with Irving leading Amelia gently, and he helps her into a chair. So Amelia is dressed in sort of something that resembles a Gibson Girl-esque evening dress. Irving calls back to the maids to prepare something a little more than tea. Perhaps a meal would be best, or something that our guests can enjoy while they're here. And he sits down on a couch beside the chair that Amelia's in, and she certainly looks drowsy. She looks tired.
Good morning, Amelia. I'm Detective Locke. It's nice to meet you.
She raises her head just slightly. Her eyes flutter open just a little bit. Good morning, Detective.
I'll sit down across from her. I had some questions for you, and I appreciate you taking some time to see me. Would you tell me when the last time you talked to either of your sisters or your Aunt Cornelia was?
You watch her eyes sort of slowly move back and forth as if she's thinking. The staff bring tea for everyone. Irving sets that tea properly in front of Amelia. It's not that if she's catatonic by any means, she can move and does move. And when she does, she moves forward slowly to take the saucer and the teacup. And I'm going to give both of you hard spot hidden rolls.
Ooh. That is not a success. That is 75 over 45.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to spend 7 luck to bring this down below half.
So a couple of things you notice as you get acquainted with her physically in the room. This is the first time you're seeing Amelia. She's quite pale. Beyond the fact that she's pale, she shakes a little bit when she picks up the cup. And moreover, when she picks the cup up with her right hand, Detective, you can tell that there is just the ever so slightest mark of bruising on her wrist. Slightly yellow.
I'll just make note of that but I'm not going to comment on it just yet.
I haven't spoken with my sisters in some time. It comes out robotic.
When you say some time, has it been since before you were married? Or like not long after the fire? Or was it more recent, but just it's been a while? Like in the grand scheme of things, are we talking years, months?
I haven't seen Lillian since before the fire. The last time I saw Myrtle it's been some time.
Oh, could I make a psychology roll?
You certainly can.
Now, psychology is definitely not Charles's strong suit. Oh, no, that's not a success.
You are welcome, of course, to push the roll.
Oh, could I push the roll? I've got 10 in psychology.
I mean, you could. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying that...
No, I think I'm going to play it safe.
I also have psychology.
You can certainly roll it.
That is 27 under 30, so just barely something.
Ooh. Okay, detective. You get the feeling between her saying sometime and the answer before being a little robotic that it's possible that someone coached Amelia. It feels a little too vague. And worse, it feels vague on purpose.
I see.
Charles is just sort of standing there, unsure about exactly what he's supposed to be doing in this moment and waiting for some sort of prompt from Detective Locke to when would be an opportune time to try and get the husband out of the picture and distract him in some way.
I see. In some time. What about your Aunt Cornelia?
My aunt. She reaches up and sort of scratches her head. Oh. There's a play, a dance actually, that goes between Amelia's eyes and Irving.
I see.
I think Cornelia's been busy. She helps out with farms and with babies.
I see.
What's the husband doing during all this? Is he sitting kind of watching her like a hawk?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the body language that Irving gives off is one of concern, but also in some ways duty. He seems to... I don't want to say that he's puffed up because Irving just doesn't have the sort of size or aura for something like that. But he seems concerned. He's very intently watching Detective Locke and watching Amelia. There's a certain tension in the air too.
Right, let's break that. I'll kind of go over to him and say, Mr. Purcell, I hope you don't mind my asking, but I noticed you had a couple of very interesting pieces in your hallway of a certain continuity, shall we say. Might I be right in assuming that the late Victorian, Edwardian period of our history in terms of pieces of art and furniture and that sort of thing is of particular interest to you? Because if it is, my friend, we share a common interest.
He looks, frankly, astonished. Really? That's quite interesting. Are you familiar with Edward Burne-Jones? He sort of stands up.
Edward Burne-Jones? Well, what would you like me to roll? Education or something like that?
Oh, yeah, edu, for sure.
Yeah. Yes, that is 57 under 75, a normal success.
So there is Burne-Jones has several, frankly, very popular paintings. And also it would be Sir Edward Burne-Jones now. So he was knighted at some point, but they're in publication and you would be aware of them. The Love Song, The Passing of Venus. These were done, the Love Song was done between roughly 68 to 77, and The Passing of Venus is just before the turn of the century. Burne is and was known in the time as pretty popular painter. And so he certainly knows what he's talking about as far as his artistry.
Ah, Baronet Burne-Jones. Yes, indeed. I am quite familiar with his work. I believe his Passing of Venus is quite an extraordinary piece of work, although, of course, he never lived to finish it.
I have a first reproduction of The Beguiling of Merlin. Merlin, I'd like to show you. He stands up.
Oh, that would be splendid, sir. Yes, please, lead on. Detective, Mrs. Purcell, you don't mind if we excuse ourselves for a moment or two, do you? And I will eagerly follow the wife beater, the husband of Amelia Purcell, out of the room.
Yeah, so he seems to give Amelia just a moment or so regard, and he says, I'll be right back to you. It won't take but a moment. If you need anything, please let me know. And he steps out of the room with Charles. And you go down the hall, and he begins to regale you with all of these reproductions that have been done of the work and some books that he has. He's pretty knowledgeable about his hobby topic. He's in no way a full-on antiquarian, but he can keep pace with you for the most part. The nice part for you during the conversation will be, though, that you're fairly certain that you've acquired some knowledge that perhaps he has not. And so that gives you a bit of an edge on some of these conversations. What you are going to be able to do is likely keep Irving busy.
That is my main intention. I've also got a sort of side intention of maybe trying to, if I can ingratiate myself with him a bit, maybe trying to get his side of his wife's sisters and the family is, where he's kind of coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can, at some point as we wrap up, I'll give you either a charm or persuade, some sort of social roll to see what kind of relationship you establish with him. So, Detective Locke, they leave the room, and once they do, Amelia consents that Irving is gone.
Is it just the two of us in the room, or has he left any staff babysitters here?
They're just not, at the moment, they're making lunch.
Fantastic. I'm going to scoot slightly closer so that I don't have to talk as loud. And I'll lower my voice. Amelia, well, it's just us for a moment. How did you get the bruise on your wrist?
You feel and see like a cloud of shame fall over her. And she pulls up the sleeve on her dress a little bit and covers it up. Just an accident.
Amelia, well, it's just the two of us. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I will not say anything to anyone without your permission. We'll take separate notes. Are you safe with your husband?
She takes a series of inhales, like she's trying to keep something down. I've had bad nightmares.
May I ask about what?
About Myrtle.
What about Myrtle?
She talks to me.
She talks to you?
She tries to come and keep me company. I try to get out of the bed at night. She keeps asking me to walk with her, to leave.
I see. When was the last time you actually saw her? Your response before, those were his words, not yours, weren't they?
Irving doesn't want me to talk about it.
I won't tell him you talked about it.
He's afraid.
What is he afraid of?
Me.
Why would he be afraid of you?
He thinks I started the house on fire.
Your sister Lillian, I spoke to her yesterday. Well, my colleague spoke to her yesterday. She said that she started the fire.
Not that house.
Of which fire then?
This house.
Did you once try to light it on fire?
I don't remember.
Do you have a reason why you'd want to set this house on fire or escape it?
Irving isn't who I thought he was. He didn't get what he wanted. He can't get what he wants.
Is what he wants a son.
She just nods her head very slowly.
I'm going to lean in even closer to her, and I will put out an upturned hand in case she wants to put her hand on it, but I will not grab hers. So often is it the case that people are not who they seem like they are to us until you figure out exactly what they want and whether or not they'll get it. and that is not your fault. I understand also that your family, well, pretty much solely has daughters, not sons, for generations now. So I'm not surprised he's not getting what he wants. Either way. But that is not your fault. And I'm sorry that he's not who you thought he would be.
I need to leave.
All right.
She sort of takes another few rapid breaths in.
I can't promise I can get you out of here right now. So this conversation needs to stay between us. But I will figure out how to help you out of this situation. Do you trust that I mean that?
She looks like she's lost in a sea of emotion. Like she's going to have a breakdown. That's what's going to happen. You can see it coming with the amount of psychology you can have. You can see that she is sort of beginning to crescendo, and she starts crying, like not audibly, but tears start falling onto the dress, and tiny tears begin dropping in this teacup that she's trying to hold very carefully. She looks at you and says, "I'm pregnant."
Okay. Here's the thing. I'm not saying your emotions are wrong, and that is really good to know so I can keep you and your child safe. But we're going to need to bring emotions back down before they come back so that he doesn't end our conversation early. So can we take some deep breaths together?
Sure. She reassures you.
I find it unfortunate that I've put her in a position to reassure me instead of the other way around. But we'll take some deep breaths together.
Irving has me seeing doctors. He has me on a different diet. And because I've walked around the house at night, he makes sure that I can't do that. No.
How does he make sure that you can't?
She actually begins bawling. Now she's actually audibly crying.
Got it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. Here, I'll pull out a handkerchief.
She takes it very carefully from you. I'm going to make a listen roll for Irving because he is quite attenuated to his wife. I'm going to give him a slight disadvantage to score because I'm sure that Charles is continuing to talk him up.
I've taken him as far away as I possibly can. I mean, I'm assuming we're looking at this painting in a completely different room as well, so...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You see him bodily sort of look back towards the front of the house.
Is there something I can bump into and almost knock over and then, like, if there's a vase on something, I can bump into it and knock it over a little bit and then grab it and make a big play of that to kind of keep his attention?
Give me a dex roll. If you want to make it really believable, it needs to be a hard success.
I mean, I'll see what happens. I don't have a particularly good dex. 0-8! Extreme success!
So not only do you tip it over a little bit, not only does it sort of lean heavily to the left, both the cabinet or the pedestal that it was on, which is also an antique, and the vase, one goes right, one goes left. You catch both, but you completely just suck all the attention away from what's going on in the front room for Irving.
I am terribly sorry. Is this Ming?
Oh my goodness! No, please. We should be careful with that.
Yes, of course. I do apologize. I do. Very, very clumsy of me. Oh dear. I can't apologize enough. I'll just make a big fuss about it.
So, Detective Amelia says, through tears, he ties me down.
Beatrice is going to take another deep breath and slowly exhale while like white knuckle gripping the arm of the chair she's sitting in. I see. Is that how your wrists end up bruised?
The medicine they give me sometimes at night wears off, and I struggle. I don't wander the house anymore, and I don't try to set anything on fire anymore. And I don't want to be a bother to anyone. I don't want any of this. I never asked to be part of the Wicklock line. I never wanted Myrtle to do anything that she's doing.
What is your sister doing?
She's talking to him.
Who's he?
She looks at you with very bright green eyes. and says, she calls him the Master.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that name lately.
I don't know him. I don't want to be anywhere near him.
Some distressing things have happened lately, and I don't want to make today even harder on you. But one of the things that's happened recently that I'm investigating had a bowl from your family at the scene of the crime, and it had your the coat of arms for your family on it. And I've been told that there's other silver pieces from your old house that you've ended up with, or others have ended up with, or have been stolen over time. But there was a set that matched the bowl that was there. And at least one woman was seen involved in this situation that I worry might be related to you. And I'm not trying to target your family or anything, but I need to either clear their names or find who's doing what so that nobody else gets hurt. Do you understand?
I think so.
If that bowl is still in the possession of one of your family members, then that would clear some things up, or was still in the possession of them. But if it was stolen from them and your family doesn't have anything to do with this, I still need to find out so that I can clear their names instead. Do you understand?
Sure.
Do you know what bowl I'm talking about? About yay big silver with etchings in it of a coat of arms and these types of symbols. And I'll show her the reliefs that I took of the inside of the bowl and some of the sketches of it.
She nods. I think I've seen that bowl, but not in years.
Do you think it's something that Myrtle might have had?
I think so.
Okay. This master, did he ever want anybody to be hurt for him?
He never talked to me directly. Myrtle said she hears him.
Mm-hmm. I see. It sounds like Lillian's talked to him before, too.
I don't know. I wanted to see Lillian, but they won't let me talk to her.
It sounds like she wanted to talk to you, too. Since I'm likely to see her again, would you like me to pass along a message for you?
Tell her I miss her. I hope that she's okay.
I'll tell her. If you did get out of here, I cannot stress enough how much Beatrice is practically whispering this. If you did get out of here, do you have somewhere safe you could go?
She shakes her head no. I don't have any means to do anything or to go anywhere.
Do you have any idea where your aunt is? I know you mentioned farms and babies, and I know she's a midwife, but that was while your husband was still in the room. Do you know anything more?
I don't, other than she's long been someone who has a reputation of midwifery and raising good animals.
Did you have a good relationship with her when you saw her before?
I think so. It's been a long time.
That's okay. If you did get out of here, would you want to see your aunt again? I guess is the question I'm dancing around.
I would.
I'm trying to find your aunt right now. I'll let you know where she ended up as soon as I know, just so that you can get in touch again. Speaking of where people live, though, do you have any idea where your sister might be living at this point? Myrtle, not Lily.
She wanted me to come with her to a little house south of the city. She said she had a place there.
I see.
She said she was building a family. She said there's more of us.
Did she ever mention a last name like Bowler? I'm talking about that? Or Fowler? Or anything similar sounding?
I don't think so.
I see.
She just said that nobody used the house anymore, and so it's free.
There's a place south of town that we were going to search that sounds an awful lot like where you're talking about. If I find your sister, I'll make sure that you know as well. Discreetly, but I'll make sure you know whether your sister's all right. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like me to know? Well, it's just the two of us. I don't know how long my colleague will be able to keep us alone.
She shakes her head no. And at this point, I'm going to ask for Charles to make that charm or persuade roll to see what kind of a relationship he's established.
Absolutely. I'm going to make it a persuade because he's more persuasive than he is charming. And that is 58 over 55, but I am happy to spend 3 points of luck to make that a success.
I'll say that you are neutral to friendly with Irving at this point. You've improved a little bit from the distrustful, but you've made a good enough impression on him that he does not seem to concern himself with you. But it's clear that he does want to get back to Amelia.
What ails your wife? She is clearly not well. I hope it's nothing too serious.
Unfortunately, she has had some difficulties, and we are adjusting as best we can with her diet. Something we've worked on for a little while now, and doctors say that it takes a little bit more time to adjust. I think it stems much from her childhood, and she gets bad nightmares, and so we're working with one of the local doctors to find the best treatment.
Oh, I see. Yes, indeed. I understand she did have a somewhat traumatic experience when she was quite young. Must still weigh heavy upon her loss of the parents and so forth.
Yes, it does.
Tell me, I believe she has the sisters. Were they similarly affected?
Sadly, it does seem that way. Her sister Lillian was deeply affected by it and concerned a bit about the influence there, and so we're being careful with the...
I would have thought the sisters would have been a source of comfort and strength to one another.
You know, the thing that I have found most interesting in married life is certain family members get together. I feel like one could instigate for the other. It's unfortunate, but I don't think Lillian has Amelia's best interests in mind.
Oh, really? Oh, dear. I'm sorry to hear about that. And was there not another sister, Margaret something?
Yes. Myrtle, I believe. I haven't seen or heard from her in, I don't know, years. Back before we were married.
Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. That is a shame. But I suppose an event such as that must fracture a family quite badly.
Yes, absolutely. Now, he points back to the front room.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sure your time is very precious to you. Mustn't take up any more of it.
It's quite all right. I'll have to stop down to the Historical Society perhaps the next time you give a talk.
Please do. It'd be wonderful to see you there. Yes, I haven't got anything lined up just at the moment, but well, I tell you what. Why don't I give you my card in any case?
He takes it.
Appreciators of art and history, such as ourselves, we must stick together. Is that not the case?
It absolutely is. Absolutely is. He walks back towards the front room. You can hear the two of them coming back in.
I'll cough loudly as we get to the door as well.
As soon as I hear returning footsteps, I will quickly hand her a little piece of paper that I had kind of written down while we were talking. This is my number and my address. Put this somewhere safe. If you need to reach me for any reason, please do not hesitate. I'm not going to judge you.
That's all you'll get. You won't get any more lines out than that.
But I've already handed her the piece of paper. I've thrust that at her, and I'll be saying those things, and I'll immediately change topic as soon as the door is opening.
Amelia reacts to Irving coming back into the room with just the ever so slight physical twitch. And as Irving sits down, you can tell that she's agitated a little bit. And Irving picks up on that immediately. And he says, are you okay? He seems to reach out and seemingly show genuine concern for his wife. And she says, I'm not feeling well. And Irving becomes immediately very stuffy, and he stands back up and sort of adjusts his jacket. Well, I'm certain all of the talk with the detective has taken the wind right out of you. Why don't we get you to bed? Detective, I'm sorry, we're not able to assist you any further.
That's all right. Miss Purcell, Amelia, your wonderful company. I'm sorry to have exhausted you, so I hope to see you again sometime. Mr. Purcell. And she'll stand up and sort of lower her head. I'm sorry that we couldn't stay for lunch.
Okay. The two of you head back out. Amelia gets escorted back upstairs by both Irving and one of the maids. You join your fellow investigators back at the car, and you can now consider your next step.
I'm feeling rather peckish. I don't know about you. A spot of lunch at the Thurgood residence?
She's going to remain as calm and even-keeled looking as possible until we're well out of line of sight of that house.
But yes, certainly. You managed to drive away, probably white-knuckling the wood steering wheel, knowing inside that Amelia Purcell is a prisoner in her own home. And she is now with child and likely heavily medicated.
And that child will also be a prisoner in her own home, since it will likely also be a troublemaking daughter.
Very good. So you head back to the Thurgood residence.
Yeah, so we all settle into the Thurgood house for lunch.
Yes, Miriam begins to prepare things in the kitchen, and the four of you are around the table.
Miss Chamberlain, Annie Mae, Detective, where are we at with the case?
I believe that Myrtle lives in Goody Fowler's house, south of town.
Ah, splendid. That is progress indeed.
That is where you were requested to go tonight, Miss Chamberlain, correct?
Something that came up during the conversation with her, like she never gave me her name, but she insinuated that I am related to the Whitlock line.
Say anything else besides, like, how did she indicate that?
He said all of the Whitlocks are connected. And she indicated that my powers, like I'll just gesticulate my hands a little bit, if such a thing is possible, through that specifically.
I believe that Myrtle talked to Amelia in a dream or a dreamlike state and may have been insinuating that you exist. I feel so strange even implying such a thing could be real, but apparently Amelia experiences Myrtle talking to her sometimes from afar. And it sounds like possibly was she dreams, and mentioned a house south of town that sounds like it's the same house we're going to tonight, and mentioned that there are more like them. There's more family to assemble, which if she also came to you mentioning that you are somehow connected and has bid you there, you might be one of the people she was inferring about.
What is this, a family reunion?
Well, there's been studies done of this. This isn't the first time family lines have generated special abilities. So it makes perfect sense that if you're related to the Whitlock clan, then that you would also have some sort of innate ability that you're not aware of.
Do you have a genealogy of your mother's side of the family, which is, I presume, where this strain would come through?
I mean, maybe she insinuated that my mother changed her name, but I've also never asked about my genealogy.
You mean when she got married, yes?
That's what I would assume, but I don't know if she changed her name before that.
What was your mother's maiden name? Is it just a matter of interest?
And my mother's maiden name was Smith. At least that's my understanding. It's a very common last name, so...
Well, that would be quite time-consuming, I would imagine, to go into tracing back your mother's birth certificate and so forth. Perhaps that is outside of the purview of the current investigation.
I should also add, outside of the purview of the current investigation, but something that might complicate it further, is that I do not know if Irving knows yet, but I believe he does, that Amelia's with child.
Great Scott!
And I do believe that she is in long-term danger in that home. For right now, with what's going on with her sisters and the fact that she is pregnant, this might get more complicated before it's resolved.
Detective, do you have somewhere, or do you know of somewhere where persons in situations such as Amelia's may go for help and safety and security?
I'm sort of hoping that her aunt, who does not live in town per se, it sounds like she might be out in or near farms, who's a midwife, won't be involved in this crime directly, so I won't have to arrest her, and she can go live with her aunt who can help her through this pregnancy. That would be the ideal situation here, because there's not a lot of resources for her in her current situation, especially if there's not ample evidence that he is doing something incorrect in his home, which I do not have enough information to do anything about as a police officer. So hopefully we find Miss Lowe, or Mrs. Lowe, or Miss Lowe, I'm not sure, Cornelia's situation.
There is more than one way to skin a cat, Detective. I can make certain phone calls, speak to certain parties, where such behavior of a gentleman is looked upon very severely. I can potentially make his social situation very awkward indeed. Now, there is no point in pursuing these particular lines unless we can be assured that his poor wife is safe and secure in some way. And it is a very fine line, a very dangerous path to tread from her perspective. I have to say, I admire your optimism with regard to her aunt, but I can't help but think that a midwife in a family of witches, she may be living on a farm somewhere a little south of Arkham in a house that once belonged to a certain Goody Fowler.
I think calling them witches, brother, is a little archaic.
Well, what is the preferred term? Practices of the dark arts.
Enhanced individual. Well, okay, if they're sacrificing people, then that's a different story. Not sure if all of them are, or if it's just maybe they're being controlled by this master.
Well, I think that is the general historical context of a coven of witches, is it not? They serve a dark master in the form of Beelzebub, Satan.
I think you've been reading too many fiction novels, brother.
Well, the historical context of these situations is very clear.
Speaking of which, the master did come up when I talked with Amelia. She says that she wants absolutely nothing to do with him, but Myrtle has been in touch with him as well, and that he talks to her. That might be also involved. But also said that he's never talked to her directly, just talks to her sister directly. So
it's probably a blessing.
Yes. I think that we should make a game plan for going to the house south of town tonight. I still would like to use your phone to call the station to get a fellow detective to convene with us, either there or head over there following us in a separate vehicle, if that is all right with you.
Of course, of course.
Catherine, what would you like to do? This seems to be your family line, and they seem to be focusing on you. We should, what?
I mean, I want to confront this woman who tried to kill my parents. And if we can bring her into custody safely, I would prefer that. But if she puts up a significant fight and is injured, perhaps gravely, I'm not opposed to that either. I don't want her to hurt anybody else.
Well, Detective, can we not round up a posse or some such, gather the assembled ranks of the Arkham police force and head down to this little cottage, wherever it might be, and confront these people?
I think that we won't get the information that we need or not have them all flee if the entire Arkham police station shows up at their door. But I do think that the person invited and a detective showing up, as well as reinforcements being nearby that can wait for signs of trouble, is a way of getting information and still being capable of having room for those arrests to happen at the same time without needless danger.
We could probably take positions around the house while you enter.
I'm not sure about having you all take positions around the house, but I'd have officers take positions around the house. I'd have detective.
Well, in case something supernatural happens, I could be right there to go in and I could help. I mean, I've tried to speak to the spirits.
I am not insisting you stay back. I'm saying I'd rather have trained, armed reinforcements position in places. And genuinely, if Catherine is all right with it, probably not let you two get far away from us for your own safety and for your supernatural knowledge. Leave the detectiving to detectives. Leave the supernatural to the supernatural knowledge holders.
Yeah, well, she also, I don't know what, but she did something to me. Like when she was leaving, it felt like my head was going to split open. And I don't know if it was, she had some sort of like chemical reaction that she let loose, or if it was something supernatural. I don't know, but I did suffer like an attack from her because I did not just kowtow to her demands.
Really? Could you describe in as much detail as possible exactly what happened, or what she did, and what the effect upon you was? Take out a notebook.
Yeah, she said some word or phrase or something. It wasn't in a language that, it didn't feel like a language. It just felt like noise, like sounds that came from her. And like I said before, it felt like my head was gonna split open. Just searing pain. I got really dizzy. Like I was disoriented, and I was afraid that she was gonna use that as enough time to finish my parents off. More specifically, my mother, because that's the parent she has beef with. But as far as the attack, it was short in duration, but it felt like it lasted a long time.
Very interesting. Did she make any hand gestures or anything like that associated with when this attack came on?
Oh, Keeper. Was it just the word that I actively noted?
Yeah, you didn't see her make any sort of hand gestures. She looked at you with a really intense set of eyes, and you began having mental pressure and trauma.
There wasn't anything flashy about it. She didn't gesticulate. She didn't chant. It was like she was pouring her hatred into me.
Dear, it sounds most unpleasant. Most unpleasant.
Was, to be honest, it's one of the reasons why I would honestly, Detective Locke, if we can get backup, I'd like that, because if she can render people incapable of defending themselves, I don't know if it's one person at a time, but if there's more people available to distract her, it's better.
Yes, let me see what I can do. And Detective Locke will excuse herself to use the phone.
You go off to use the phone, and the purpose of the call?
I'm going to call the station and ask either the captain or ask to leave a message for the captain saying that I would like Detective Stuckney and the whatever backup he can bring to meet me south of town to accompany us to the house, as we likely will need backup because the perpetrators of this likely will be there tonight. And we are going to go talk to them, and I might need to make arrests, and it might be an altercation. So we'd like to have backup nearby. We think we have solved the case, but if we're right, there might be a need for backup tonight.
So the chief, sadly laments to you that there are 2 other active investigations going on, and that backup is going to be a little difficult. But he tells you that if you can give him a location, that he can try to get men out there at the right time. But he can't promise you anything, Detective.
I know that he wasn't meant to be on this case, but I know that Detective Stuckney has ended up talking to somebody who is likely relevant to this case. And that is what he was up to today, which is why I specifically asked for him. But if he is off doing other investigations, that is fine. I just think that his current investigation is directly connected to mine.
Really?
Yes. Maurice Willard, I believe, is an associate with Myrtle Moore, who I believe is one of the people who was on the hill that night.
I don't think that there's any reason for us to wait if we can. It's just this one person of interest.
If I'm right, the man that he went to speak to today is potentially an accomplice of hers, because his vehicle was seen that night near the hill, near where the tracks from the getaway vehicle from what happened to Mr. Overton. So it could have been him helping this woman or others escape. And if police talk to him today, he might also be there with Myrtle tonight, or someone else they know might be. I do not know if she'll be alone there, if it is her that we find there. But we do know that whoever, if these are the people who are involved, we do know that they are all right killing somebody brutally.
Yes, all right, well.
And that they were large. There is somebody involved that could overpower and tie up a man of Brian's size. So I doubt it's just young woman in question. I assume there's at least a second woman, if not a man potentially involved. So there might be 3 or more people.
Well, Detective, I'm going to suggest something that I wouldn't normally.
And what is that?
Have you considered deputizing the Thurgoods, just temporarily? Give them the legal authority to effect an arrest, and you've at least evened the odds. I'll certainly make every attempt I can get to get Detective Stuckney and another few men out to you. But if we're talking about cornering a killer, we need to act fast.
Agreed. I will also say what happened at the Chamberlain house does seem to be also directly related to this, as I believe that Myrtle, if she is the woman I'm looking for, I believe the same woman who killed Brian stabbed Miss Chamberlain's parents.
Well, then she's dangerous.
Miss Chamberlain was threatened at the hospital today, and it was implied that she's related to the Whitlock family as well, just like the women I believe are involved in this murder are. So I believe this does all tie together, sir.
Well, keep your notes and your wits about you if you have to.
Will do. We'll be heading over there this evening because that is when Miss Chamberlain was requested to be there, which means they'll likely be there. So probably as sundown approaches, we will be on our way there with flashlights and supplies.
Yes, all right. I'll see about getting you some more hands. For now, you have a few options. With my agreement and authority, Detective, do what you must.
Thank you.
And we are going to go do what we must, which is put this episode to bed. And so we are hurtling now towards a climactic finish for the Queen of the Night, as brought to you by the Old Ways. So thanks, and have a wonderful evening.